Hello and welcome to Short Circuit Podcast. I'm Fat Sam. Now, Short Circuit wasn't always going to be an electrical podcast. But I didn't ever expect it to take the turn I'm about to tell you about. We're going down a different route, and I really hope you guys join me on this journey. Now, talking to Matt, and this is why I've had to do this preface, because actually Matt and I had a conversation, and it was nearly 3 hours long, and I had to sort of cut together the bits that I could put out, and then there's bits I'm just not ready to put out yet. But this is a different type of conversation now, and it's where I'm taking Short Circuit Podcasts, and I hope you guys come along on the journey with me. I've suffered from depression, mental health, addiction, all kinds of stuff in my lifetime, and I'm still about and kicking now. And in fact, 2020 has been one of my best years ever. And Matt is the same type of guy. Not that he's been addicted or anything like that, but he is dealing with his own mental issues on a daily basis. But he's got a handle on it, and he's thriving. And what I find interesting about that is how he's doing it. And then I want to bring that knowledge to trades. And so the last couple of podcasts I've done after Matt's one is also about the same thing. People keeping a handle on their issues and actually turn them into positives and using it to drive their life forward. Hopefully it's going to be a powerful podcast. I do bare my soul and talk a lot through it, so please don't judge me on that. And without further ado, let's do this. It's a two-parter. Yeah, let's do it. Hello and welcome. We're back with another one of these electricians podcasts, and today we've got the powerful, opinionated Matt from Thomas and Burke on Instagram. Say hello, Matt.
Hello, how are we doing, everyone? Nice to see you.
So, Matt, I've got you on here because I know you've got some quite strong opinions you like to voice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you've got a bit of a following going on Instagram, and this is the whole point of this show, to speak to people like yourselves, you know, not the mega stars like the Bundys and the David Savorys of the industry. Speak to people like yourself, proper people not proper people, but sparks, you know, with an opinion. That's what it's about. Get to know you a little bit, find out a bit about you.
Yeah, basically, I set this. I set the Instagram up 3 months ago, actually, 24th of August, and it was. I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in because I'd never been on social media before. So, you know, you see a load of pictures of tools and, you know, different bits of work, and that's great. But the work we do, I can't really take a lot of photos and do a lot of videos. So, so I just started sort of chatting on it, really. Just started talking about work and about different things and the experiences that I've been through in life, and started to open up and share, you know, my opinion and my experience. That's all it is. So I don't, you know, proclaim, is that the word, to be you know, I'm like a health, you know, person, or a mindset person, or a mental health person. You know, I don't proclaim to be any of that. I just say my experiences, and for 36 I've been through a few. So
well, I'm looking forward to getting into that. Now, before we start, there is a age-honoured tradition when you do a podcast with myself. It's a quick fire question round. There is a right and wrong answer, and you will be judged very harshly on your answer, especially if it's wrong. Right. So, number one, what is your favourite power tool brand?
Milwaukee.
Wrong. Number two, cutters or croppers? Side cutters or croppers?
Has to be side cutters.
Peasant. Tea or coffee?
Definitely coffee.
You've got one right so far. That's good.
But it has to be black coffee.
Any coffee, it doesn't matter.
Right, okay.
I'm working towards black coffee, but
right.
I'm working towards it.
Right.
Work trousers or jeans?
Oh, definitely work trousers.
Second one right. You're back in contention now. Day rate or price?
Say that again, sorry.
Day rate or price?
Oh, definitely price.
Well, that's the wrong answer, but it's because I'm fat and
Right.
lazy. So there's a difference. And what is your favourite tester brand?
Mega.
Wrong. Because it should now be TIS. Very good friends.
Right. Okay.
So you got two right out of that. So
Yeah.
you like Milwaukee. I'll be fair to you though. Milwaukee is, I'm starting to see what they're bringing out and I'm like, I like it a lot. Especially their 12-volt stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially for
Yeah.
a spark. That's really all you need, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't need the big stuff, do you? So.
No.
Can I just mention as well that's 2 more than I got in my GCSEs, so that's pretty good.
You're winning. You're winning at life. I think it was it's either Amy or Jamie smashed it out of the park. One of them two did. Can't remember now. I try not to keep track of useless information. So let's get into it. So where did it all start? What you about? Did you do an apprenticeship? Did you do? Are you an adult trainee? Tell us how you got into the trade.
So I grew up in a small town called Ruthin in North Wales. So I am a Welshman.
Is it in the valleys?
Yeah, it's in the valleys. It's in here in the valleys. So I started out. I actually went to Wrexham College to be a plumber, and they said to me, "There's no more courses." My stepdad was a plumber. They said there's no more courses, so I was like, I'll do electrical. And I sat in a classroom for 2 weeks without an apprenticeship. And I went home and I was like, Mum, this is no good for me. So we got the yellow pages out, as it were, back then. And I wrote 3 or 4 different letters and I got an interview. And I think it was about 43, 44 people went for it, with it being such a small area, but quite heavily populated, if you like. So anyway, I got the job and I started from there at 16. And then I had to leave at 17, so I was thrown out of my house, and I went to live in Huddersfield with my sister, and I carried on doing my apprenticeship. Luckily, touch wood, I got
thrown out your house. I'm going to ask it.
How deep do you want to go, and how long have you got?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. It's a conversation. So
I come from quite a dysfunctional family, shall we say, quite a detached household. And my father left when I was 11. I haven't seen him since I was 11. And my mum was an alcoholic, and still drinks, but I think it's everyone sort of accepted it more now. So yeah, I was just thrown out. I wasn't a great person at 17. Very angry, etc. Didn't know myself. Was thrown out, and I went to live with my sister in Huddersfield, and that wasn't great either. To be fair, that lasted 2 years, and then I moved out and got my own house at 19, which was very, very difficult. But I didn't have a choice, so you do what you've got to do, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, and that's why I still now go camping, sleep in the van, have cold showers in the morning, because I sort of enjoy the discomfort. I enjoy the mental health attitude of seeking discomfort, because then I think that anything that life throws at you, you're fully prepared for that, and I think that's great.
It's funny actually, because the great and powerful Joe Rogan, the podfather of podcasts. I don't know if you follow him.
I've seen a couple of bits on him, yeah, because someone mentioned him.
And what he talks about is, a great way to approach life is by doing something difficult every day. So
yeah,
getting up, going to work ain't difficult.
No.
But doing something like, smashing it out in the gym for an hour, difficult.
Yeah.
To do that every day is difficult. The discipline, the mindset that you need to do it is difficult. Just anything like that where you've got to have discipline, or you've got to do something real. Take yourself outside your comfort zone is a powerful thing. I've got some idea about alcoholic people in your life. One of my good mates, he died. When was it? Died during the first lockdown.
Right. So recently.
Yeah. So he drank himself to death. You know, it's a very insidious thing, alcoholism. We won't go into it too tough, but it's a big old thing. And it's far more insidious and sinister than people think. Like, it's as bad as a drug. It's as bad as a drug habit.
Everyone says, you know, the heroin, the cocaine, you know, etc. But alcohol, if alcohol was invented today, it wouldn't get passed by law.
No, definitely not.
100%, it wouldn't get passed by law. You know,
I like a drink. Sometimes I drink on the show. No problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm a former addict, big time. I was homeless. All these things. I turned my life around. So I see it from both sides, you know. But yeah, it's a rough old thing. Addiction, and let's be fair, alcoholism and addiction is exactly the same. It's an addiction to alcohol. You know, people try and separate it, but there is no separation really.
I mean, there's use and abuse, isn't there?
Yes.
You know, you can use something. You can have a glass of red wine with your wife or your husband or whatever, and you know, a couple of drinks, and then there's abuse. You know, and we've all been you know, gone on nights out and got pissed and thrown up and etc. But I think especially now as I grow up, like I did CrossFit for 2 years. I did. Yeah, great. It's great. I think that's a different mindset. That's a mindset of no matter what level you're at, doesn't matter what level comp you're going at, to train for that and prepare for that I see more of people who've been through struggle to do that.
CrossFit's a funny thing. Now, I don't mean to make this about me, but you brought up CrossFit. That's something that was close to my heart, because actually, when I started my recovery, getting back into the real world, you know, I was big in before. So I was normal up until about 26, and then got diagnosed with something. End of the world happened for me, and I spiraled out of control. Brought myself back out. But one of the things I did before I fell into this dark chasm, like this sort of grey area, I've done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at a high level. Got my purple belt. No, I got near to a purple belt. Got my blue belt. Nearly got my purple belt. I was, you know, I was banging it on CrossFit 4 times a week, 4 times Jiu-Jitsu, best shape of my life. And when you talk about CrossFit, that was the early days of CrossFit, when you would log on to the internet and there would be the workout of the day, the WOD, would be hosted by the Central CrossFit people. Now it's sort of different now, because I went back to about 5-6 years ago.
Rich Froning was the master then, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Froning was your man then.
And you just saw these people, and they were like super athletes that could do anything. I was competing at jiu-jitsu at the time, and then training that, and it was brilliant, man. I loved it. And you know, I wish I don't really have regrets about life. That can weigh you down. But what I do have is, like, I look back and I think, Jesus, I was in the best shape of my life. You know, I'm fat as fuck now, but you know, it was good times. And what you're saying about the CrossFit thing, you all turn up, you know, you've all got different levels. At that time, they would have the WOD of the day, and it would be, you know, some people might do it in 35 minutes, and some people might do it in 55 minutes. I'm definitely the 55-minute guy. But you all competed, and then you all stuck around to make sure that
that's right.
At home. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and that's I had a PT for a while, a few years ago, and he said to me he'd bring the rower down the stairs in the gym, in the Globo gym, or what you want to call it, and he'd set it out, and he wouldn't do this for anyone else, and I'd be like, "You all right bringing the rower down?" He's like, "I'm a PT, I do what I want, it's, you know, my gym, whatever." And we'd do a mini like circuit and workout, and he'd go, "You need to do CrossFit." He'd be banging on, and I'm like, "I'm not going, I'm not high-fiving anyone, I'm not doing that." Anyway, and I turned up and I signed up, and everyone's like cheering, all the blokes have got their tops off, and I'm like, what is this place? And I trained, I think my first sort of class was with one of their fittest guys, and I was absolutely schooled. I thought, my word, I'm unfit.
Yeah, different level.
And I went away, and the coach messaged me. He was like, "How was it?" I was like, "Disgusting, but I'll see you tomorrow." So,
yeah,
and, you know,
there's one of, for me, it's my favourite way of training, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't been in the gym for. I've been in the gym messing about and stuff. I've done a bit of stuff. I'm struggling to, like, if my biggest addiction now is eating. If I'm honest, can't stop. But I can. But it's rough. And as you get older, it gets harder, doesn't it? I'm 38.
Yeah. Of course it does. Yeah.
But it is what it is. But let's bring this back round. So you are. So we talked about your childhood growing up. 19 years old, you're in your house. Tough times. So take us from there.
So and I was the kind of lad who was like, the best thing that could have happened to me was, my dad was an abusive father, my mum was an alcoholic. It was great for me, that, I thought, because that set me up. I've been through the difficult times, and I couldn't have been further from the truth. I was just basically broken. I was a broken lad, and I was just, women were just coming and going, and it was just, I was just 100 miles an hour at everything, and from there, I went to, when I was about 21, I qualified, and then at 21 I went to work for a different company in Huddersfield, and they said, do you want to go and work in the Isle of Man? We've got a contract in the Isle of Man. I was like, where's the Isle of Man? Anyway, long story short, we got over there, started working on nights in the banks, doing access control, and I was on £1,000 a week. I'm 36 now, so 16 years ago, it was awesome back then. So I was doing nights, and then it sort of went from there. And at 23, I set up my own business in the Isle of Man, and I did that for 7 years over there, and it was really good. But I still did.
Motorbike course.
You know what? I actually did my CBT, but the amount of times, because I used to go cycling with a lot of fire lads, so there was a big group of us, and they were like, you should join the fire brigade, and I was like, no, because I like the idea of it, but being sort of with it being so regimented, I just thought, it's just not for me. I'm just not that person. Because a lot of people say to me, you'd have been good in the military, or you'd have been good, doing it in the fire. And I just don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know if it'd have broken me or made me or what.
It's one of them things that they say every man regrets not being in the army at some point in his life. And that rings true for me. I would like to have had a go.
It's one of my business partners, ex-military. A good mate of mine, he's an ex-Royal Marine Commando, and the stories, wow, that he tells, and one of his mates is SBS, and it's just incredible. And and the way of training would have been, and the way of life there, is absolutely incredible. But then every time you go out, you roll the dice, don't you?
Yeah,
and
man.
You don't know what's going to happen.
I often think back, because for me it come down to so I was working at a gym at the time, right, rough gym called FX Power Gym in Croydon, and
in Croydon,
that's where I'm from. So across the flyover in Croydon, so that was one side of the flyover, and the other side was recruitment centre for the army. So me and my mate went down there. We want to join the army. Okay, well, you read this stuff, come back in a couple of days, and we'll talk about getting you signed up for this. You've got to do this, you've got to go on this training day and all that sort of stuff. So I was a bit disappointed, and I come back out, and so I was walking back over the bridge. I got a phone call for a job, and I took that. Yeah. Instead of going ahead with that. It was so I do regret. I wish I did something, but then again, who knows where I might have been dead now. So you know,
this is it. And by no means do I ever think I wish I'd have gone in the army. I don't ever think that. I like the way of, you know, how they train, and funnily enough, my missus, she signed me up for SAS Who Dares Wins last year, the TV program, and I was like, yes. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing, and I had to do this minute interview, like whatever, to myself, and then send it off on the phone, and I did it, and I sent it off. I thought they'll never call me. Anyway, they only called me, and I had to go up to Newcastle and do a day's training. And if you failed, you had to do the bleep test to level 11. You had to do a jerry can carry, 50 press-ups in 2 minutes, 50 sit-ups, and then like a sort of a log lift onto a box or whatever it was. And if you failed any of that, you don't progress to the interview stage. Anyway, I passed all that, went to the interview stage, and never got on. But then it was in Scotland and it rained for 2 weeks, so I thought, I'm glad I didn't go there.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny. This sounds like I'm making this up.
Yeah.
I applied for it. I didn't finish my application though. I thought, you know what? I'd really like to accomplish something with.
Yeah.
I would never have got on. I'm nowhere fit enough. But I applied for it. I got carried away one night. I was feeling a bit down about myself, and I was watching that. I was watching the one with Joey Essex, Tony Bellew, and all that.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Brilliant one. That was brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
Very good. Joey Essex. Who knew? Who knew?
You know what? Incredible guy. And
Incredible.
Tony Bellew, I thought he'd have a lot more control than he did have.
He's angry though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But that Ant Middleton sussed him and said, "Listen, you come out of battle. Now you're a civilian. You need to get a lid on that." And I've listened to. I'm a podcast addict, so I've listened to a load of podcasts, and he was on one with James English. He's like the UK Joe Rogan, and he was on that and telling about his life story and then his time at SAS and that.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy, Tony Bellew as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But listen, we could talk nonsense all day. But listen,
we can. Yeah.
Let's bring it back around a little bit to the electrical industry. What CPS do you use?
What CPS do we use?
Yeah.
So in terms of what do you mean?
Your competent person scheme. So.
Oh right. Okay. Sorry. So. Right, I've never heard it called CPS before.
Well, you know.
I know now. So we're ECA registered members, and we're NIC approved.
So did you go with NIC because you do? What sort of work do you do as a firm anyway?
We don't do much domestic. We do sort of railway work. So we'll do jointing on the railway, or we'll do like subway lighting. We do a lot of commercial stuff. So we've done sort of factories, and we've done care homes, sort of fire alarm installs and stuff like that. Do a lot of testing. So, you know, offices in and around Leeds and York. And then we do some bits for, you know, the old plum centres. We'll sort of do the shops and, you know, not the refits, but we'll do. So if we carry out on the ICR, then we'll do the remedials for that kind of stuff. We'll do LED upgrades, and you know.
So did you do an apprenticeship?
Yeah, full. Yeah, so from 16 to 20, I did my apprenticeship.
Lovely. Yeah. So you're a business owner?
Yeah, director 50/50, and with there's Chris Burke, who is my business partner.
So how did you find your work
then? To be honest, word of mouth, and Instagram has done a bit. LinkedIn's done quite a bit. We used to do quite a lot for water authorities and sort of street lighting, stuff like that, private developments. We've been offered the houses, but we've always turned them away because it's just not worth it. Yeah.
And it's rough.
To us. Yeah.
Moving furniture, it's dealing with talking like housing association, social housing type stuff.
Well, even if it's 30 new builds on a plot of land, we still won't do that.
So it's definitely a young man's game, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. I mean, it's just we'll do, like this week we've been at a veterinary surgery doing emergency lighting and fire alarm editions to where there's no coverage, and then we're working in I'm actually in Reading tomorrow, and then Northampton, and then Teesside doing EICR remedials.
That's some mileage. Reading to
Reading to Northampton.
Isn't that like way top north? Isn't Teesside like Newcastle? Is that time?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we're near Leeds, so that's like an hour from us.
Oh,
so yeah.
Way further than that.
No, it's not. We're quite central, really. It takes me, like, to give you an indication, where our office is, it's about 40 minutes from Manchester, about an hour from to Derby. So,
right.
It's not too bad, and then an hour to Newcastle, let's say.
Oh, everyone I'm speaking to lately is from top north.
Yeah.
And even though people will say Derby ain't top north, listen, if you're past the M25,
I mean,
you're top north. Even Reading's north.
Derby is definitely not north; it's the Midlands. But anyway,
no, forget that. Birmingham's north. They're all north. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I drove up there to spend a day with Nick Bundy, and I took her with me. And she goes, "Oh, so Nick lives in Stafford, and Amy lives in Derby."
Right.
No, she don't live in Derby, but she's staying in Derby for, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh yeah, pick me up on the way." Definitely not on the way, is it? 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
Out your way.
That's not on the way, and it was over here, and Stafford City. I was like, this ain't even close.
No. No.
Lunatic.
When I moved back here from the Isle of Man, I literally came over with nothing, left the business, didn't want to be there anymore. Just I'd had enough of looking at the sea and the mist, and I came back over, and I was only out of work for 2 days, and a guy rang me saying that they did Your Move estate agents. Anyway, I went around the country doing them. It was great, really, and I went to do a job in Deal, near Dover.
Well, I live just around the corner from there now.
I mean, they've never seen. I don't think they've ever seen or heard a northerner. They were like, "Oh my god, your accent's amazing."
So I call it the boonies down here. So I moved from South London. So I was born and bred in Croydon. Then I moved out to Caterham, which is right on the outskirts of Croydon.
Right.
And then during the lockdown, I was living in a flat with my wife, young baby, and I had enough. Just being stuck in the flat. I literally walk out my flat, walk to the garage, sit in the garage. I was sitting in the garage because I had like a bit of a studio in there. I was looking up at the garage ceiling. I was kicking around. I was like, I wish I had a garden, because you weren't allowed to sit outside or anything like that. Neighbours were right dicks. And I was just like, we're moving.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad lived around the corner down in Herne Bay, and we just every day. I don't know, I'll get moaned at for this, but every day we would pick 5 houses go on Zoopla, find 5 houses and go down and look at the area, travel to each house, see, whatever. But we had a legit reason to be travelling because we're moving. The lease was up as well, so we didn't want to renew that. So we drove around looking for a house. We found one, and we just moved down there. I just moved, and it was the best thing I've ever done. Because I wake up every morning and I can see the sea.
Perfect.
I love that. Being a townie, I love that. And then now I've been down here and I love it. I'm never going back to London ever again.
No, and I think I don't follow a lot of people on like YouTube and stuff, but I've seen a few. Is it Tom Nagy? I've seen, and obviously his hustle and bustle in London and what he does is great. But I just think it just looks stressful. It just looks, and that's not a word that comes into my, vocabulary very often, because I think if you're stressful, you're doing something wrong. But
let me tell you about this. So, if you was a subcontracting spark in London working on a commercial project, for instance, you had to travel from anywhere around London into London to get to the job. Getting on the tube, stressful with your tools. Getting off, stressful with your tools. Traveling for an hour, and You know, some jobs you get on and you think, oh, well, it's only like three changes. So the train would be, the train would be 50 minutes or something to London. So
Yeah.
50 minutes to London. Then you got to get from Victoria to wherever it was. And
Yeah.
like 3 tubes to get there. And it's like an hour and 45 minutes of journeys. And just to get there, you do your 10-hour day or 11, get paid 10, and then go home again.
Yeah.
And that was a very definition of stressful. And
Yeah, that's incredible.
People might think you earn like, and I had a wrong mentality about it whilst doing that. You think you're earning good money. Oh, I'm on $225 a day. All right, well, that's, first of all, that's not good money.
No.
Get that out of the head. That's not good money.
No.
Second of all, it would be okay money if you was doing it on your doorstep for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's different. But when you're doing it uptown, you're traveling for 3 hours, 3.5 hours sometimes, depending on if there's like a train delay or something. Now you add 20 minutes straight onto your journey minimum.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, well, I'm on 225, 250 a day, and you're like, relax. So when I moved down here, I took a mad pay cut, really. That's 10 minutes from my house. I do other things. So I'm an electrician first and foremost, but I'm working my way off the tools by setting up other things.
Right. You're not self-employed then?
I am self-employed, yeah.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
I'm just working as a subcontractor in Canterbury, which is I don't know, 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Car park next to it, lovely.
Yeah.
Park up there. I do my 8 hours. I'm home by 4:15. You know, we have two 1-hour breaks. You know, I really don't do a lot of work. Okay, I'm not earning anywhere near £200, but I've got the evening to go in the summer. Oh, unbelievable! Go walking on the beach. You know, take the kid, take Harper on the beach, take my dog, my wife, the lot.
Yeah.
Down the beach, chill out down there. It is the best thing I've ever done. So the stressful nature of being a spark is there. But I'm doing it again. I'm talking about myself a lot. Sorry.
It's good. I want to know about you. I'm interested in this. I think am I interviewing you? That's the
it feels like it. It feels like I've got to talk.
You have. That's good.
I've just had a massive coffee.
All right. That's good though.
It's kicking in now. It's kicking in.
So electricians, I thought they'd be on more than that in London as a subcontractor. No?
No, relax. So the going rate in London is about, at the moment, you only get paid for what you work generally.
Yeah.
So there's no more of the days where I book you in for 12, shoot off after 10 hours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get 12. All that's gone. You know,
yeah.
What you work, you get half hour for lunch. If you take an hour, you don't get paid the other half an hour. Stuff like that. And the rate is anywhere between, I've seen as low as £19 an hour lately.
Yeah.
And I've seen as high lately, because I still keep my eye on it. And I think I've seen the highest I've seen lately is about £22 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's all agency work. I mean, if you're direct with someone, you are rolling the dice whether you're going to get knocked. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, they say, oh, I ain't paying you for this week. You can't really do anything.
No.
Take out small claims and all that, but who's going to? I find the agency circuit and all that is a really lazy mentality. You know.
Yeah.
I want to just go work, get paid, doing the least amount possible. Generally, but I'm one of them. No, I'm not anymore. So yeah, it's not great money. There are some good jobs. So if I went back to London now, I've got a couple of people I could phone, and I could probably get £25 an hour. You know, that's a decent rate.
But that's £200 in the centre of London.
Yeah, and that's
so we charge 35 plus VAT an hour for up here.
That is, if I travelled from here to London, would be an hour and a half on a train, and then where I get to, I ain't getting paid for that.
Yeah.
£125 a week as well, travel.
Wow.
So it's not worth it.
No.
I'll never go back to London again.
No.
And where I was living, I was living right on the outskirts, on the M25.
Yeah.
That was like 80 quid a week just to get into London.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's not.
So I think what you've confirmed here is that stabilizing your mental health and your family's well-being is more than money, isn't it? You
Mate,
know.
honestly, I chased some money for a while, very unsuccessfully, and now what I've done was, so people are so bored of this story. I started a union for self-employed agency Sparks,
Right.
and I was of that mentality that a union would work. Then,
Yeah.
when it didn't quite work out how we planned it to, it's successful in its own right, but we didn't achieve what we wanted to.
Yeah.
I saw what I could do when I applied a mentality and a work ethic and focus to something when we
Yeah.
the union, and it was successful in its own right. That gave me it sort of clicked in my head. All right, it's late for it to click in my head, but I realised that I could change it for myself quite easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead of this lazy mentality of, instead of to get a job, you could, I don't know, go on Google, download or search all the M&E companies in London, and you could ring around,
Yeah.
be your own agency, and you could get a better rate. But the mentality is just phone an agency, then moan about the fact that they take their cut out of your rate.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way of thinking about it.
Of course it is. Yeah.
You just put your front foot first and go for it.
That's right.
And so I've sort of adopted that mentality, but I quite quickly understood that I'm at the end of my excitement for putting in steel conduit and trade
Yeah.
and basket
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
munching. I found myself doing these podcasts with like the likes of Mark Allison and Neil Bridgman. I'm blown away by their technical knowledge. You know,
Yeah.
Jesus, I don't know anything.
Yeah. It's embarrassing when you speak to people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus, I don't know anything. What? Like, so I've sort of pulled myself back from that. I try and steer clear of that. I'm trying to learn more. I've even got my professional development plan on my whiteboard there. You know,
Yeah.
trying to take things a bit more seriously, and then I put that same drive and effort I put into the union into other revenue streams, and they're
Yeah.
now, and life's a lot easier. My day job, I'm not having to graft my face off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can use that as more of a savings thing, or rainy day money or something like that. And that's what. And I see life as a bit like when you go to the gym and you seek a good body. When you go to the gym and you seek a good body, it never quite happens. But then, say you go and do something like CrossFit, and you just concentrating on the movement, on the fitness of the body, on maybe cutting back the drinking, and along with that comes the good body. It's strange because you don't do CrossFit for aesthetics, or I didn't, but I looked miles better than when I was just going in the gym for a better body or a better look. Do you see what I mean? Which is, and that's the way I see business. If you're chasing money, chase, well, how much do you want to chase? Because you earn $1,000 a week, you want 1,200. You earn 1,200, you want 1,400, and it just goes up, and you never get there because it's never enough. So the worst thing that could ever happen to me would be to do something like win the lottery. I couldn't think of anything worse, because I'd then lose the purpose, and I don't want to lose the purpose.
I'll tell you now, I'd have purpose. Trust me. I'm putting this out into the universe. I want to win the lottery.
It'll happen if you tell the universe. I'm telling you now. But you look at Tony Bellew, and what a great guy, what an awesome fighter, what, the things he overcame and the fights that he won, an incredible machine of a man. And then he retired, and because he's angry because I don't think he thinks like he's got a purpose.
This is it. This is exactly it.
And that's when a man loses his way,
No, I would do stupid things like I always said, there's like, oh, you'll be bored in a week. I'll be like, not with this brain, bro. Not with this brain. I'll be fine. I'll come up with this thing. What I would do, this is ridiculous now. What I would do is I would get a boat, a yacht with a helicopter landing pad on it, hire SPS, and like a 50 cal and a minigun, the whole lot, and have that attached to the helicopter. So we've got
Right.
and then I just go and hang out on the coast of Somalia and wait for some pirates. Shoot me some pirates. Like,
Wow.
that's my brain. I'm a child.
Yeah.
I lay there thinking about that before I go to sleep. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be just fine. I'd buy every motorbike I could. You know.
Trust me, you wouldn't. I know my friends have been there and done that and worked on the tankers. You wouldn't want to do that.
You got a team of SBS and like a couple of 50 cows. You're going to be just fine. Maybe an RP or two. You'll be all right. And then you've got a helicopter if you need to jet.
Right, if you need to go.
Yeah, well, and it's going to have guns on it, so it's air support.
Yeah. So you could just go from from Yemen, you could just fly out and end up in Monaco and go on the lash.
Exactly. You know, that's how life works in my brain.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Half a lunatic.
But you would be bored after a week doing that.
No. There's a couple of months there, isn't there?
Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah,
then
maybe.
I don't know, I might go on a treasure hunt in the Amazon looking for Eldorado. Or, buy a motorbike at every track around the world. That's not dear. Every track around the world, and then just fly from racetrack to racetrack, riding a different motorbike.
Yeah. You could buy two and just burn one of them.
Exactly. I could just,
Won't matter.
Well, and I'll just finish up. There's be someone there with an old rubbish one. I'll be like, yeah, mate, have that, bosh. See
yeah.
To the next one. I'm off to.
On a serious note, I think this Instagram that I've started and that sort of developed more, and then people are like messaging me, and in 3 months I've got, not that I'm bothered about the amount of followers, but I was surprised by how many followers I've now got.
I'm having a look at your thing now because it annoys me how many you've got.
And I just think, I don't know how it's got to that in 3 months, to be fair.
What is it? Do you know who keeps popping up? Have you seen her, Chick Sparky from Australia?
Chick Sparky? No.
She's always posting pictures of her in her underwear. It just not my fault. It comes up.
No. Well, it works on analytics, doesn't it, of what you look at in your previous history? No, right.
Mine doesn't do
right.
that.
Not your phone.
A picture of Jesus' naked ass come up. Is there a reason?
Well, I don't know who's taken that. That is cheeky.
That'll be you. But yeah, so you've done 100 posts and got 1,400 followers in what, 3 months?
Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, and you know what? The amount of people who message me for, not to mention names, but for advice, to ring me about advice, someone that you had in your truck actually, ring me for advice and speaking to me and asking, what my thoughts are on this, that and the other. And I just say, my opinion is this. And they're like, oh, I've done exactly what I thought, what you thought, and it's worked for me, and it's incredible. And I just think that means more than any amount of money to me, and it's great to help someone, to help another human that you don't even know. I was on the phone last night for half an hour to another lad who's going self-employed and thinking about it, and the mental health stuff and just loads of stuff. And I'm thinking, and like the On the Tools thing. I'm going down to their studios, I think, in January. It's just incredible. And I just think to myself, I don't know why people want to listen to me, but there must be a reason.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. What a lot of people don't realise about social media is it's a creative platform now. It's a creative platform that anyone can access. And you look at me, right? Okay, I can talk. I can talk for hours. I can talk at myself. And I've just been doing stuff on there, same as you, doing stuff.
Yeah.
Just doing what I enjoy, and I see you doing the same. And that's one of the big questions in the industry, because obviously there's two sides to social media. Obviously you've got the positive aspect, which what you're trying to put over, but some of the stuff you say, I know, gets negative feedback as well.
Oh yeah.
That's the dark side, isn't it? Like that's
yeah.
Like I've found myself embroiled in many a Twitter beef, and many a slagging match on social media. I moved away from that now. I just won't even entertain it for 1 second. like, I've moved away. How are
Yeah.
you finding that side of things?
Yeah, when I put that thing on the traffic warden on, I don't know if you've seen it.
It was quite boring.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. But not once did I.
I'm a key worker. I'm a key worker. I'm an essential worker. I was like, all right, mate, that's it. But
which actually we are, because in the first lockdown we got emails off Network Rail and care homes that we work for, and schools. We also do a lot of work in schools, and they said if you get stopped, obviously you're a key worker because we need the electric, blah blah blah, and that's fine. And when I spoke to him, and I got some I got some messages saying, you brag about mental health, you harp on about this. And I said, well, at what point did I put him down? Or at what point I was simply asking him questions. And I started typing back to one person, and I stopped midway, and I thought, I've got 10,080 minutes in a week. I don't want to be wasting my minutes on you. And all I did was just remove the comment and forgot about it. And that's what happens. And if someone's got a real issue, my number's on the website. You can click on wherever. You can give me a ring. You can come and visit me in my office. I'll meet up with you if there's a real issue, and we'll have a chat. We'll have a coffee and a sit down, because I'd rather talk to someone about why I've done something, not to justify it, but to reason of, to show them the reasoning behind it. Do you see what I mean? But someone once said to me, you can't reason with a stupid person. So what I do is, you're always going to get negativity, and you're always going to get people who've got comments of, like swearing a lot of times, and that's just not my cup of tea. So I just delete them and move on. And people like that, I think you've just got to ignore and outperform, and that's the way to do it for me. And when I sort of say what I say, I don't say it to get a rise. I don't say it to get comments. I don't say it to get followers. I say it because I see it, in my mind, and I believe it in my heart.
That's one of the reasons I approached you to do this podcast, is because actually, I see, like, when you're talking about something, you're talking your thoughts straight out. There's no filter.
Yeah.
That's
No.
what you're thinking. You then look back at it and think, well, probably a bit wrong there. Or you might think, no, 100% right. But what you're seeing and what you're getting out of you is 100% what's going on at that moment. And I think that's quite powerful. And I think that's what people gravitate towards, because you've got so many not fake, but you've got so many people that do social media and, do content with like a version of themselves.
Yes.
I've been guilty of it. That's what this podcast is about. This is you.
Yeah.
This is nothing else.
No. It's just fair, isn't it? And there's no. You ask the lad, my mates who know me. There's no BS with this. There's, I'll say what I say. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. And I'll say it, and I'll say what I think. And sometimes, when your mum says to you, oh, just rein it in a bit, when you're younger or whatever, because you can be a bit sort of, a bit of a shock and awe tactic. But it's like, if someone's going in at a level 2, I'll just go straight in at level 10. There's no, I don't see the point in climbing the stairs. I'll just bang straight in. Yeah. And I think that's just the way to be, So.
You will upset people doing it, but I would give me one genuine person over hundreds. Behind their mask, or not brave enough to be there themselves. That's really important. I don't really portray anything other than what I am.
No.
At the beginning, I was a little bit embarrassed about not knowing stuff when doing these podcasts. Like I've done 100 podcasts now, and you can actually see the change in me. Like where I was genuinely being me most of the time, but I say some dumb stuff, and and now you've got 100% Sam in these podcasts, and it's important, and that's why.